Yo, so we are live and just waiting for everyone to tune in. Really good to have you all here. It's just about 4 o'clock. If you can't hear me or anything, let me know, but everything should be pretty good. So let's just wait for everyone to come in. We'll give it a few minutes. How's everyone's day going? Please let me know. I have 3 feeds over here. So I've got the Instagram feed here, which is going to be my main focus. I've got my YouTube feed here. I've got my Facebook feed here. So wherever you are, feel free to send a message. If there's any questions or anything like that, just put it up. But I'm going to be answering questions live one-on-one on Instagram over here. So if you're not on Instagram, jump on from Facebook, from YouTube, jump in onto Instagram and let me be able to bring you on in a while and then we will go. So yeah, it is quite cold indoors. It's a cold day today. Yeah, thank you. So brilliant. How's everyone's day been? Let me know. Good, great. Has it been okay? Tell me anything which has been happening. First, thanks for joining in. Great to have everyone here. So again, if you'd like to come on one-to-one here, jump onto the Instagram over here, and after a while, I'll bring you on. So I've got Facebook here, YouTube here, and Instagram over here. So how's everything going? Let me know. How's your day been so far? Had a good day, tough day, brilliant day? Let me know how things have been going so far. Great. So far, great days, good days. I love it. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, fine. So what I wanted to talk about today is I launched my new course a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of the in right now because they've pushed so hard over the last few weeks. There's a lot of overwhelm, a lot of panic and things like that, and so that's normal. That's actually a good thing, and I wanted to address it all today, and I thought, let me actually bring it over here so a lot of you can actually tune in, because a lot of the information I want to give to everyone is relevant to everyone right now. So after a while, I'm gonna open the floor out for one-on-one questions. What I'm going to do this time is people who are in my course already, people I'm coaching already, I actually want you to come on because it's only been a week or so. So I'd love you to jump on. There is a button at the bottom saying request to join in. Just click on that. And then as soon as I'm ready, I'll click on that. I'm going to go on for about 10, 15 minutes and then I will click on that. Right. Okay, great. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Hope you've had a great week. I haven't been here for a week. It's just been a really manic week. So where is all this going? Okay, so the point is right now that on this journey of where you're going, is, for me, it's like a mountain, that you're climbing a mountain right now. And at each and every step of the mountain, you're going to hit certain things. And at each and every point of that mountain, if you back off, then you're just going to end up back at the bottom. Most people give up on the top, on the way to the top of the mountain. So what can I show you right now? What can I tell you right now to actually keep going on that journey? The first thing I want you to know is you've got to have a why, right? Why are you doing this? Why are you going on this journey? What is the sole reason for this? Money isn't going to drive you after some time. So when it gets really tough, when it gets really bad, on the days where you're really knocked down, like, money isn't going to drive you anymore. There has to be something much more powerful than money over here, which is going to grow you. I remember some of you may have heard me say this, or you may have heard it on YouTube. In 1990, there was this great boxing match, and this boxing match was between Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was the reigning champion. No one had ever knocked Mike Tyson out. So Buster got in the ring with Mike, and Mike obviously did his moves. He really tried his best to knock Buster Douglas out. Every time Buster hit the floor, he actually got back up. Hit the floor, he got back up. My question is, in your life right now, how many times are you knocked down, and how many times do you stay down? Or how many times you getting back up all the time fighting? It's about 4 times he got knocked down and he kept coming up. And then, Mike got him up against the ropes. And in your lives right now, you might be up against the ropes, right? What is holding you back? What is pushing you against the ropes right now? Is it money? Is it relationships? Is it the virus? Is it your job? Is it insecurity? What is it? What is it which is holding you up against the ropes? But what Buster Douglas did is Buster Douglas pushed Mike Tyson out of the way, and in one punch, he floored Tyson, and he actually beat Mike Tyson. And the world was like, wow, how did this ever happen? It's the biggest sporting upset in history. What happened? And when they went into the press conference after, they asked Buster Douglas, what is the reason? How were you able to beat Mike Tyson? And the answer he gave was absolutely phenomenal. He said that 2 weeks before I fought, my mama told everyone that I was going to beat Mike Tyson. Okay. And 2 days before this match, my mum died. So I had two options. I could either live for my mom or I could die, right? And his point was that he found his why, right? His why was for his mother. And he fought no matter what happened, he won. And the first thing which I want you to know is you got to have a why in your life. And some people say, what is my why? What is my gift? Sometimes you don't know. And your why will come from going on this journey from doing what you enjoy. So one of the questions, and I've got some questions here which people have messaged in, which I'm going to answer. Some of the questions are, how do I find what I'm great at, right? How do I find my passion? I've always said your passion doesn't just turn up to you. You've got to try loads of things. It's like turning up at a restaurant. How do you know what the best food is? You don't know. You've got to try a lot of things. One thing you like and say, yeah, I'll try that again. That's what passion's about, right? You try something, you like it, you do more and more and more. You say, I'm going to become a flipping master. I'm going to become great. And that is the way in which you develop your passion. And on that journey, that's where you find your gift. That's where you find your why. So your why isn't just going to come like that. Your why comes from going on this journey to do what you love, to actually finding what you're great at. But that only comes from unlocking your passion. But that only comes from going on that journey. I always say it takes one day, right? It takes one day to change the rest of your life. And some people go, how does it take one day? Because it can work both ways, right? But every morning when you wake up, you have choices to make. You have decisions you have to make. And if you say today, I'm going to go out, say I'm going to go and murder someone, right? Today, I'm going to go out and murder someone. The moment you murder someone, your life has changed for the rest of your life, right? Your life will never, ever, ever be the same again once you've done that. So if your life can change on that level, if you do something negative, then surely it can also happen if you do something positive. And all it's about is taking that decision that, I'm going to make it happen. It's like, most people want to be at the top of the mountain, but they don't want to do the climb up it. Most people want to get to heaven, but they never want to die. And it's like, well, how do these things work out, right? One comes with the other. You cannot have success without the failure, without the hardship, without the overwhelm, without all of that happening, right? But you want the top of the mountain, but you're not prepared to climb it. You want like a helicopter sometimes to pick you up and drop you there. But the problem is when you're up there, then if you haven't learned the skill set to climb up, you'll never be able to have the skill set to come down. And if you did come down, you'll never be able to have the skill set to go up. Those people right now who've had businesses crushing around them, around this time, they've pivoted, they've changed. Why? Because they hustled in the right time. If it was given to them, they wouldn't know what to do now. So understand, right? So it's about you becoming that, leader, motivate, inspire the people around you. There's this great story. King Solomon in his day, he was one of the wisest people, King Solomon. And two women came up to King Solomon one day and with them, and both women were fighting. And he said, look, what's the problem? And both women said that child was theirs, right? Both women were fighting. It's my child, my child, my child, my child. And what King Solomon said is, look, let's get this sorted out for once and for all. He picked up a knife and both mothers are like, what's going on? And he said, look, what I'm going to do is both of you are saying the kid is yours, right? So let me just cut the kid up. Let me cut the kid up in two. You take one and you take one. And they both step back. And one woman goes, you know what? It's fine. Give her the child. And King Solomon smiled. And he goes, there you go, right? That's your child. Because it was only the mother who'd have that much passion inside of her to know that, don't do anything to my child, but just give my child away, because I'd rather my child survives. I'd rather my child thrives, okay, but he's with someone else. And, that's one of the great leadership qualities, right, inside of us, that we have to know, where we're going, what we want to do. That sometimes, we want everything now, but understand, right, that whatever you want, if you acquire the skills, you can have it on a long enough time frame. Some people are like, do you know what? I've got such a long time to live. I'll do it tomorrow. But like for me, I know I've got 30 years probably, right, before I turn 70, whatever. Okay. But I can't look at it as 30 years. What you've got to look at, I say, I've got 30 Christmases left. That's it. 30 Christmases left. I've got 30 summers left. I've got 30 winters left. Because when I say I've got 30 summers left or 30 Christmases left, it puts everything into perspective, right? It's not 30 years, because we all think we're going to be here forever. We all think, no one's ever going to die, but we are, right? And there's going to come a time when you're going to regret. So my point is that right now, get on that journey. And as you climb up that mountain, it's going to get tough, but, don't ask, why me? Say, try me. Don't ask God to take your problems away. Ask God to give you broader shoulders. You take this on, and this is what the fight's about. So on this journey, what are you going to do, right? How are you going to, what are the stages of this? So right now, each and every one of you, whether you're with me, whether I'm coaching you, whether you're on my programs, whether you're not, each and every one of you is on a journey right now, and you've got this big mountain to climb. So one of the biggest things I've been hearing from people in the last week is, I'm overwhelmed. I'm panicking. This is tough. What's going to happen? What if it doesn't work out? And I'm like, good. You're on the right journey. And they're like, why am I on the right journey? What does that mean? Okay, on this journey, on this mountain you have to climb, the first thing which is going to show up is fear. Okay, that is the first thing which is going to show up. And most people, when they hit this place of fear, what they do is they stop. They said, you know, I'm going to give up. And there's the two biggest fears in life is, number one, the fear of failure. And the second biggest fear in life is that if I do fail, then the people around me might not care about me anymore, right? The feeling of being loved, having that taken away. The feeling of not being loved, that's the second biggest fear. So first biggest fear is fear of failure. Second biggest fear is, I've said this before, right? The fear of not being loved. So as you go on this journey right now, if you're trying to build a business, it's like, you know, it's lockdown time. I'm trying to pivot, trying to do something else. So you're really pumped up. It's like, you know, you talk about you're going to go to the gym when you're at home, then you get to the gym and then you've got to have something else to push you, right? Because you're there. So also same over here as well, that you had this big idea, I'm going to start this business, I'm going to join this program, I'm going to do this. And now you're in there. What is the next thing you do? You start panicking. There's fear that what if this doesn't work out, right? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if it fails? What if I then lose the people around me? And what most people do is when they hit fear, they tend to back off. They tend to go all the way back down the mountain and they don't do anything about it. But here goes, right? Some of you may say, well, do you know what? I do not feel fearful. But the thing is that fear doesn't just show up in that way. Fear shows up in different ways. So number one, if you're feeling panic, that is a form of fear. If you're feeling overwhelmed, that is a form of fear. If you're making excuses, that is a form of fear. If you're using delay tactics, so for example, I'll start later. Okay, all of these things, they are fear. And if you're going to hit these things, even if you say, you know, I don't want to change, I don't want to change. And you know, there's some people who are really scared of changing. Again, that is a form of fear. Now, let me ask you a question, right? When you're fearful, what happens to you? Your blood pressure goes up or down. What happens? The blood pressure goes up, right? What happens to your heart rate? Up or down? Heart rate goes up. What happens to your fingers? Do they go dry or do they go clammy? They go clammy, right? What happens to your breathing? Does it go faster or slower? It goes faster. So all these things for you are signs of fear, signs of stress. But what if when you were growing up, your parents had told you that when your fingers get clammy, when your heart rate goes up, when your breathing goes really high, that's actually excitement. Imagine if our parents had told us that, right? Imagine if they told us that when we're younger, those things which we feel are actually fear and panic and which we feel are stress. What if we'd been told that that was actually a feeling of excitement? Do you not think our lives would be different? Hell yes, right? Totally. So again, on this journey, the first thing which is going to happen is you're going to feel fearful. You're going to not want to climb up. But the only way that you counter this is by pushing and pushing ahead. Because what will happen is there may be many people in your life right now who tell you not to do certain things. And the reason is that when most people hit fear, they don't do it. They don't want other people to do it. So they'd rather bring you down than bring themselves up, because it's harder to bring themselves up because they've got to get out of their comfort zone. So you've got to see this all playing out, right? But when you hit that fear zone, the only thing that you must do is you got to understand it's the first part of the mountain. When I fear failure, when I feel not being loved, when I fear things will go wrong, it is cool. But what about if we looked at the other side? Right? Warren Buffett said three very important things. He said, you know, whenever you're making a decision, there's three possible options you could have. Look at the best case, look at the worst case, and look at the middle case. So for example, say you invest with a coach. The best case could be, I'll 10x, 20, 100x my investment. Or the worst case could be, is I could lose everything. Most people focus on the worst case, so they never do anything. My point is if you never take it, you never open that door, how will you ever know what lies behind there? And ask yourself the question that if you're on your deathbed and you ever ask yourself, you know, what if I'd done that? What if I'd spoken to that person? What if I had, what if I'd gone and made that conversation? What if I'd picked up the phone? What if I'd done that one thing? Would my life not have been different? That is a horrible way to live, right? So make sure that you understand that when these fear parts hit, put yourself 20, 30 years from now. Would I look back on this and think, what if I'd done this? The answer is yes. Never, ever, ever, ever stop. So Buffett says, right, take the middle answer. Don't look at the best case. Don't look at the worst case, but look at the best case. Don't look at the best case. Look at the middle case, because that is what is most likely to happen. And if you push it, you will get the best case. But most likely go for the middle case. So the first thing is also, I've drawn a picture of this mountain with all the different parts and with the notes of this as well. So if you'd like a copy of that, what I'm going to get you to do is, if you're not in any of my circles at the moment, if you're not in my coaching circle, you're not in my group, just DM me, PM me, send me a message wherever you are right now, and just give me your name and your email address, and I will send you this so you don't have to write notes, right? So I'll give you the picture of the mountain, the different phases which you're on, and how to overcome them, right? So send me a message on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, just send me wherever you are, name and email address, and I will have one of my team send that to you in the next couple of days, right? So give me that, and I'll make sure you get that, right? So when we're looking at this mountain, right, I always think of that story, which I've told you before, is that whenever you're climbing a mountain, there's a halfway house, and most people go in the halfway house because they've climbed up the mountain, and then they don't want to do anything else, right? Because they're tired and they're hungry, and the rest of the group goes and they climb, but that person stays in the halfway house. And the day later, when everyone comes down, they have this massive regret in them that I wish I'd done it. And the reason they didn't do it is because they picked comfort over growth. And the only reason that we're not going to grow right now is that's because what we're doing, right? We're picking comfort over growth. So get out of this place. Understand that when you're feeling fearful, it's cool. You're on the journey up. You're on the journey to the top of the mountain, but you're at the beginning. And at the beginning of the mountain, the first thing you're going to hit is you're going to hit fear. Fear of failure, fear of not being loved, fear of what if it goes wrong, fear of what are people going to say about me, fear of being laughed at. All of these fears will play out in your mind, but that is fine. Understand that this is the beginning of your journey. It's the beginning of that. And if you give up right now, you will never, ever, ever even begin to go on this journey. Okay, number one, as you go past fear zone, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to come to failure zone. That what if I fail? And that cripples most people. That cripples most people because they're in this place. And I say that the best thing you can have around you right now is a support network, right? Your 5 closest friends, 5 people who are going to help you, push you, find more in you than anyone else. But on top of that, I've always said, right, have mentors, coaches. I've always said, right, have a coach with you, have a mentor with you who can get you through those times, right? And as you're going on this journey, understand that failure is okay. On some of my talks you may have been to, on my YouTube channel, some of my coaching groups, I always talk about that the reason that we're worried to fail is because our happiness, our self-esteem is wrapped around being right, being good, and being great. But you want to feel right. When people say you're good, when people say you've done well, you feel happy, right? But when you fail, you feel bad. But what if your self-esteem can be wrapped around failing, that you understand that if I learn, I may fail, and if I learn, I'm going to grow. So if my self-esteem is wrapped up around being a learner and growth, then it's okay that no matter if I fail, I will understand that I'm actually growing. Okay, so that's the next thing, right? That understand that you will fail, but the faster you fail, the quicker you'll get there. What if God, the universe, said to you that success for you is after 10 failures and you give up on number 3? What's going to happen, right? You'll never get there. So again, my point is that the first, as you walk up this mountain, it's going to be the fear, that panic, that what if. Get past there. When you're past there, you're like, whoa, past there. You feel great for a little while, maybe for a day, maybe for 2 days. But then as you're pushing harder and harder, you're going to come to that failure point. That what if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if this person says no? What if that first client says no? What if I can't close? What if I can't sell? What if I can't make money? What if I lose all the money I have? What if this doesn't work? All of these. I have been through all of this, right? And the further up this mountain you get, the bigger these noises become, the bigger these voices become. When I left my dental practice, it was tough, same thing, right? The fear. And then after the fear, the failure. What if it doesn't work out? What if I have to go back to there? What if this? All of these things play out, okay? But it's okay. Understand, I'm not here to tell you how to cope with it. That's not the point of this conversation. The point of this conversation is to tell you that these things are okay. It is okay to feel fearful. It is okay to think you're going to fail. Everyone has that, but not many people talk about it, okay? So the first part of the mountain is you start walking up that fear part. You get past the fear part. You're going to then get to the failure part. Once you get past the failure part, the next thing, which a lot of you are hitting right now, is that overwhelm zone, where you feel totally overwhelmed. Like some of you in the last 2 weeks, you've already made your investment back in me. You've already doubled your investment, right? Some of you have launched new businesses. Most of you have got out there and you're making so much more content on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube, wherever you are, right? Some of you started getting more clients. Like life for you is totally changed. So you're in a totally different place you are now than you were a couple of weeks ago. And a lot of you are hitting this place now, which is overwhelmed. Like you're just too much going on. How do I do this? Had a conversation with one of you yesterday, right? And you said, well, let me not take on too much because let me finish this. And I said, no, don't ever think like that, because that is the fixed mindset of you taking over. Have your dreams, push it, do everything you think you cannot do, because you will be able to do it. Never say that, oh, let me do this, then I'll do this. No, do it now. Because it's in the same business. So just go ahead and do it. When you get to this overwhelm zone, the way you get past this overwhelm zone is, imagine this, right? You're on a mountain like that, and it's a steep mountain. And the further up you get, the gradient gets steeper on a mountain, right? The gradient always gets steeper as you go up, and it's a tougher climb. When you hit overwhelm, the way you've come to overwhelm up till now is because you fought, you've pushed, you've struggled, right? So you get this overwhelm part. Now you hit there. How do you get past it? The only way to get past here is you just push harder. You don't back down. You back down, you slip down the mountain. You got to push harder. The gradient steeper. It's colder up there. There's more snow up there. It's slippery up there. Understand this. So the only way to get past that overwhelm is when you push even harder, right? You ramp it up. You get into fifth gear. You say, you know what? I'm going to get past this. The only way to get out of overwhelm is to just push faster and push harder. That is it. There is nothing else, right? Again, your friendship circle, your coaches, make sure you're speaking to them. But the most important part of being in overwhelm is, number one, understand it's a good place to be. Because when you're feeling overwhelmed and you turn around and say, you know what? Wow, right? This isn't a bad thing. That Mahmoud said to me that when I get to this point, it means I'm doing well. It means I'm nearly at the top of the mountain, right? Overwhelm means you're nearly there. But most people cannot take overwhelm. They'll go all the way back down, and then they stay down, and then they die at 30, and they're buried at 70, and then they think, what flipping life did I have, right? No. So understand, right? You're at a place right now where you're overwhelmed. So push so much harder. After the overwhelm zone, you get to this place which I call the scary shit zone, right? You're there. Now, this is scary, right? Because you've pushed past fear, you've pushed past pain, you've pushed past failure, you've got through overwhelm, and now you're at this point, right? And I call it the scary shit zone, right? Sorry to use that, but it's true. And now you're scared that what if everything I built up, what if it falls? What if I don't get the money? And you are so scared inside of you. And understand that when you're at that feeling, absolutely phenomenal feeling, because you know that the next step up is the peak of the mountain. That's it. Okay, so when you're feeling this pain, when you're feeling this, you're so scared. You're so scared of things going downhill. You're scared of losing your money. You're scared of that deal not going through. You're scared of whatever you're scared of. Understand it is okay. And everyone goes through that. Number one, most people won't talk about it because they'll never get past there. But when you get past there, that is where you are at the top of the mountain. So wherever you are on that journey right now, I want you to understand that, number one, it's okay, right? So if it's failure, if it's fear, if it's overwhelm, if it's scary shit zone, wherever you are, it is okay, because understand that you are on that journey. I want you to wake up every single morning being in that scary place, every single morning feeling overwhelmed. Why? Because then I know you are pushing. And every day when you push, you become better and better and better and better. So make sure that you go on this journey and do not back off. And sometimes you hit the top of the mountain and then you look up and you realize you're only on the first peak. And you think, oh my God, am I only on the first peak? And there's this massive mountain to climb. When that happens, you understand that the goal of life isn't to hit your goal, but it's the person you become along the way. It's the journey. It's a journey which is going to grow you. If your goal is to become a billionaire or a millionaire, and a millionaire isn't a big enough goal because you can't even buy a house these days for nearly $1 million, right? So have much bigger goals, right? If it's financial, but if your financial goal is to become a billionaire and you hit it, what the hell else are you going to do after that? You get depressed, you get upset because you've hit success. So what I say is pick a goal which you're never going to hit. Pick a goal which is so big that you will die trying, because what that means is every day you'll become bigger and bigger. Have short-term goals which you're going to hit. Weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, 5-yearly goals. And some of our 5-yearly goals have been messed up right now because one woman ate a bat in China. Okay, we know that, right? So we've pivoted, we've changed, we've had new goals, right? So have a weekly goal, have a monthly goal. But your life goal, make sure that it is so flipping big that you'll never be able to hit it. You will never be able to hit your life goal, because if you do, then what's left? And remember that it's about the journey, right? It's about the journey. Okay, so that's cool. So again, this is the mountain of success. You're going to hit fear, you're going to hit failure, you're going to hit overwhelm, you're going to hit scary shit zone. Then you're going to get to the top, and then you're going to look up at the top, and it's just going to be the first peak, and you've got this massive mountain to climb. But that is it, right? My goal is 1 trillion. Someone said, fantastic, right? I hope you hit it, but if you don't, it's cool. It's a cool goal to have, right? Because for the rest of your life, you'll always be going. And the person you're going to get to becoming that, you're going to be able to serve more, become more, do more. Just imagine, right? If your goal is to become a trillionaire, right? What kind of person do you have to become, right? To become a millionaire, you have to be an amazing mindset person. You have an amazing growth mindset. What's that going to do for your kids? What kind of dad and mom you're going to be? What kind of a spouse you're going to be? How you're going to serve your community, the people around you. And that's what this is all about. That it's the journey of life, right? The person you become. So what I'm going to do is we've hit 30 minutes, which I said I wanted to do. And I'm just going to go now. And I know there's loads of questions here. So I'm just going to jump into some questions. And we're just going to take it from there. And I've got a lot of questions which you've messaged me for. So I've got the questions here written down. But I want to see if there's anyone who's written these questions who's actually online. Let me bring you on. Tell me what you're going through. And then now some of the people who may come on, they're early on in my coaching circle. We've been there for about a week or two. So they're at that point now, right, where it's Overwhelm. And I thought, let me bring them here on an extra bonus session and let me be able to show you what they're achieving as well. Because for me, this is brilliant. People have come in the people who've never, ever, ever been on social media. They've started making videos. They started, putting content out there. They're starting getting clients. They're starting to make money. Why? Because they found what they really want to do, and they've got the strategy now and the flipping growth mindset to go out and do it. Right, the best gift in life you could ever have. So I'm just gonna see who is waiting over here, and I'm gonna bring. I've got Uzma on here right now, so let's bring Uzma on. Uzma, are you there? And so for those people on Facebook and YouTube, if you want to tune into Instagram, you'll be able to see Uzma right now coming on here with me in split screen. But otherwise you'll just see me talking, and you won't hear Uzma because I've got my headpiece in. But I will repeat the question as well. But if you can jump in on Instagram, you'll find it much more powerful because you can hear Riaz. Thanks for the comment. Yes, I used to have a haircut every 10 days. Haven't had it for 2.5 months. Okay, so I'm waiting for the barbers to open. So Riaz, thank you for that comment. Okay, great. So Uzma, can you hear me? Or can I hear you? Perfect, great. Thank you so much for coming on. Right, and I'm just so pumped to hear all of your success, which you've been having over the last 2 weeks. Right, amazing, amazing, amazing success. So could you tell me right now, what is your biggest hurdle right now, and how can I help you? People know you, right? I feel pumped for that. Thank you for the really kind words. So just once. So again, for the people on Facebook and YouTube, jump in on Instagram. You can hear Uzma as well. Otherwise, when Uzma finishes, I will let you know exactly what the question is. So then you can hear me reply. Okay. Right. Okay. Awesome. Good. See, the system works, right? That's cool. Awesome. Thank you. Oh, have you gone? We've just is Uzma there? We'll just give it 1 second, see if she comes back. Otherwise, I will bring her back in a moment. So Uzma's just saying that she's got her first client, and Uzma sent me a message, and it was about how do you build up her packages from now? How does she approach the clients? So let me try and get Uzma back on. I think we've just lost her. Let me try and bring Uzma back on in a moment, or otherwise we'll just go to someone else. By the way, if we hit an hour, because on Instagram I can only go for an hour live, I'll just put it down and I'll come straight back on, right? So if it cuts off in 30 minutes and we're still coaching, I'll just restart this. So just come back in, because Instagram live cuts off after 1 hour, Facebook doesn't have that issue. So let me see, is Uzma there? Uzma will be back in a moment. So in the meantime, let me go to, oh yeah, Uzma's back. Let me go to Uzma and then we can finish that off. Just waiting for Uzma to come back on. You're back, great. So just, brilliant, you're back. We just lost you. That's fine. Cool. Sure. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, so it was the packages, and also you asked me about when you post videos on Facebook, do you post them natively, or do you put a link up of your YouTube video for that, right? Fine. Okay, so let me address those two, and wherever we don't finish off, we will finish up later in the week on the private Facebook group, right? So number one, when you're building up your packages, and this goes for everyone who's listening right now, right? I always say have 3 packages. Okay, have a one-to-one package, which is going to be the largest investment because it's most of your time. Okay, time you only have 14,400 minutes in a day. That's it. So you need to make sure that you only have X amount of minutes, X amount of seconds in the day. So you need to make sure that you take care of that very well. So your one-to-one coaching will be the highest. Okay, just like mine, just like everyone else's. So number one, have a one-to-one package. Okay, and then just put out what does that involve. So the way I would say, the way you structure that is look at what are you achieving for your client, right? What is the end result? And see how long do I need for that? Normally, in 3 months, 2 months, you can cover that. So, have your one-to-one. Your second package needs to be a group package. So you're leveraging your time against many people. So like in our coaching group, we've got lots of people, right? It's not one-to-one, but what that means is that the investment comes down. So it is more affordable to most people. Okay. So number one, you've got your one-to-one. Number two, you've got your one-to-group. And your third one, you've got an online one. And the online one doesn't have to be that much at all because it's evergreen. What I mean by that is you've recorded content and it's out there, and there's many people can come into that program because they don't really want your time, right? They don't really, or they haven't paid for your time. What you can do is you can have a once a week live with them, or once every 2 weeks touching base with on a private Facebook group. That's fine, but they won't be having that much access to you. Your one-to-one clients will get the most amount from you, and they should be paying the most. Okay, so I've got packages all the way down from 100 grand all the way to 1,000, and that's kind of from my online all the way to my my highest one-to-one stuff, right? And when I went to my coach, his highest package was $1 million, which was his one-to-one, right? So make sure that you are charging super well. And the thing is that some people say, well, how high can I put it? And I say, the more someone pays you, the more invested they are. The more invested they are, the better you'll be able to give them. The better you'll give them, the better results they get. The better results they get, the more you'll change their life. So I say, it's in your best interest to charge people the most. Because why? Because then they know they've got the back up against the wall, and then you'll get them results, right? If someone comes in for a few £1,000 and they know it's not a lot of money, they're not going to push. They're just not going to give you everything, and then you won't get the results. You won't be able to change their life. So for you to be able to have the maximum leverage you can on someone, I say make your one-to-one that a premium product. You're like the LV, you're like the Gucci, you're like the Prada, right? You put yourself over there. Also, you cannot have that many one-to-one clients because you don't have the time. Right, so for my one-to-one clients, I'll never want to take more than 7 one-to-one clients at one go because I just know the amount of time it takes. And those of you right now who are here and you are my one-to-one clients, you know how much time I spend with you. And there is no way that I can do that, to more than about 7 people, because then I've got all my groups I've got, which is then hundreds of people. And then, so everything kind of goes down, plus everything else I do. So you will probably have 6 or 7 one-to-one clients maximum. Okay, so price that accordingly. To actually get your prices, as I start working with you more and more to find out exactly what you're going to offer, then let's price it accordingly. But the first thing I would say, like your task for the next couple of days, is write down what your one-to-one package would be. How often would you speak to them? Would it be on the phone? Would it be on Zoom? Would you actually meet them one-to-one? Tell me exactly what that program needs to be. And this goes for everyone who's listening right now, right? So many of you design your programs like that. What is it that you're going to offer in that one-to-one? And then go to your group. What I'd always say is, in your group package, give your one-to-one clients access to everything below that. So your one-to-one clients get access to everything. My one-to-one clients get access to everything what I do. Ever I speak, the circles I'm in, whatever. Okay, they get access to everything, right? You pay for that, you get access to everything. So on your group coaching, then you will set up how big do you want that group to be? When you're starting up, it may be 5-6 people, and you may want to run it on Facebook, you may want to run it on Zoom, or wherever it may be. right? And have a price to start with where it's an easy entry point. Because I always say that just get your first few clients in. Like sometimes what I even say is get your first 2 clients in for free, but tell them that the reason I'm giving this to you is because I want a testimonial of you. Serve them like they've paid you a lot of money, okay? Give them everything, okay? And then get them into your circle. You've got 5 or 6 clients you've started, you've got 5 or 6 testimonials. Your next 5 or 6 maybe getting, half the investment, and then you're ready to go. Because what that does is a lot of people find it, number one, very difficult to sell at those price points. I'll sort that out for you. But also because you've never done it before, you never know what you're going to expect, right? So I remember it wasn't long ago when my prices were down here, but it allowed me to get quite a lot of clients in, and it allowed me to show me what I'm capable of. And when I realized that, I got the right help around me to push me mentally with regards to my pricing, then I got to where I am right now. So have your 3 packages, your one-to-one, your group package, and your one-to-one group and your online package. Even if you don't have the online one right now, don't worry about that. Focus on the one-to-one and focus on the group and build that up, right? We'll talk about the exact how much to price it for. But what I want you to go away and do now is actually make a list of what you're going to put in your one-to-one package, how many times you're going to speak to them, what you're going to do, how often they have access to, just everything. And the way you design that is think about, if I want to get this person here in 3 months, what do I need to be able to give them? And build that accordingly, right? It's up to you. So some people may find that they don't need 3 months. So my one-to-one coaching package to 4 months, okay? Because I want 4 full months with someone, okay? Some people may find a month is enough. It depends what you're trying to do. If you're teaching people how to do Facebook ads, 1 month is enough, right? 1 week, once a week for 4 weeks is enough. So it can be a 1 month. It can be a 1 week course every day for 5 days. It doesn't have to be 3 or 4 months. 3 or 4 months is long enough for you to actually have a massive impact on people, okay? And they've got you for long enough. Right. So, and then your second question, which was, when I post on Facebook, should I post a native video, which is, should you upload the video or should you post a link to YouTube because you want to get your YouTube viewers up as well? There's 2 things here, right? That Facebook's biggest competition is YouTube. Okay. Facebook's biggest, because what Facebook's trying to do is Facebook is trying to rival Netflix, trying to rival YouTube. It wants to be a streaming company because that's where the future is. So if you post a YouTube link out on your Facebook, okay, the traction is not going to be great. They're not going to allow it to show up. It'll show up, but the traction is going to be so low. It's like you going into Tesco and like asking them, where's the nearest Morrison, right? Or something like that. They're like, why are you asking me? It's that kind of thing, right? So I say everything you're going to put up on any platform, put it up natively, right? So upload the video into Facebook. That way it'll have the most amount of leverage over there, okay? And also, the other thing I want you to know is that Facebook's goal right now, and they've put it out there, is they want to be a streaming company. That's why, they want to rival Netflix. They want to rival YouTube. So that's why video content is so much more powerful than any other content which is out there. It wants to, its live platform gets the most amount of traction because it wants to be a live platform. Okay. So when you understand that, then you understand what are the best things and how to post up on Facebook. So don't post up YouTube links, post up the video natively. And also one of the other questions which we'll come to in a moment is that, would you use a personal Facebook page or do you use a business Facebook page? How do you do that, right? Okay, and which one should you do? But most importantly, post the videos up natively, number one, and number two, make sure that you're not posting up YouTube links, and make sure you get as much video up there as possible. Right? And also when you're posting these videos up, the titles are really important. Okay, the titles are super important, but I think there's a question coming to there, so that'll help you as well. Cool. Is that okay? Then work. Yeah. Fine. Okay, because when you understand that Facebook's biggest rival is YouTube, why would they want to promote it? It just doesn't make sense, right? So they won't. So brilliant. So what I'm going to do is, so if there's anything else, let me know. Otherwise, get those packages ready and let me know, and then we'll take it from there. Does that answer your questions, by the way? Is that awesome? Thank you. Thank you for coming on here, because I know you'd have never come on here a few months ago, but you have. And for me, that is awesome. So great. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go to the next person now, and let's go to the next person. Where are we? And by the way, this is going to cut in about 15 minutes, so we'll just reload it back up. But where are we now? We have, who have we got right now? So we've got Murtaza, who's here. So brilliant. Let's go for this. Waiting for Murtaza to connect. Yay, Murtaza, you came on. Brilliant. How are you, man? How's everything going? All great? Good. Great. Yeah, great. Could you put your camera down a bit just so we can see you? Great. So that is perfect, right? So again, for everyone else who's on Instagram and so who's on Facebook and YouTube, feel free to jump on. Feel free to jump on to Instagram where you can actually see me and Murtaza having this conversation. But otherwise, I will repeat this question after. And for those of you who tuned in late, before the first half an hour was about how to deal with fear, overwhelm, and how to deal with failure. So I've got a PDF on that. Just DM me your email address if you're not in any of my circles, and I will send that to you. Okay, your email address and your name, and I'll get my team to send that to you. Brilliant, Murtaza. How are you doing, man? And how can I help you? Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. And well done to you for getting out of your comfort zone this week, man. You know, you've got out there on video, you've posted, you're doing, I know you're pushing, so well done. That's fantastic. Right. Okay. Sure. I get it. Okay, so the question's on overwhelm. How do I deal with overwhelm? Murtaza, tell me one thing, right? What are you feeling overwhelmed about? What is the is it money? Is it clients? Is it where's all this going? What is the reason for the overwhelm first? Yeah. And for those people who don't know, just like what copywriting is that, whatever videos and that you put out, when someone's scrolling through a Facebook feed, you have 2 seconds to be able to keep their attention, right? Because otherwise they scroll through. The older you get, the more, the older your generation is, right? The more time they spend scrolling through, right? They go slower, but the younger generation is going to like flick through the whole thing really quickly, right? So you need to be able to catch people's attention. So Murtaza does, he's a copywriter. So you make sure that those titles are eye-catching. So all of you need, titles which are eye-catching. That's what exactly Murtaza does, right? So you create those titles which are eye-catching. You make sure that people continue reading rather than turning off. Cool. Okay. So the overwhelm is what? The overwhelm is? So what exactly is the overwhelm? Okay. Okay, great question. So Murta's question is, again, for those of you just tuning in on Facebook, you can come in on Instagram and you can see us live over here on the split screen and on YouTube as well. You can come in on Instagram. So Murta said he's a copywriter. He makes sure that the copy for so everyone's writing ads at the moment, right? Everyone's doing ads, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, paper ads, whatever it is. You need to make sure that people are going to read them. And what Murta's skill is he writes that copy. Okay, so it's properly eye-catching. And one thing Murtaza said, which was really good, is he thinks everyone knows how to do this. But the thing is, people don't. Like, we all think that common knowledge is common practice, right? And your common knowledge is copywriting because that's your gift, right? That's what you do. Right? For me, I know what I'm great at, but I know that people don't know this. I know they don't have this. So the first thing you need to know is that people don't know what you're saying, and for them, it's not common sense. And if people are investing in you like they are, they're coming to you because you're the go-to person for that thing. So you have got to give them everything. And sometimes when things are really crazy, when someone comes to me with a crazy idea, or when I go to them, I'm going to tell you something crazy to do, just listen, right? And then tell me what your reservations are. So maybe if that's the thing, go in with that, right? Have the conversation with them that, but what you sent me and what I've changed is going to be so different. But understand that you want people's attention. They're like, yeah, you need business to grow. Yeah. Well, these are the things that you kind of need to put out. And they will see the results, right? The only reason people are coming to you is because you're so good at what you do. right? So you need to understand that this overwhelm place is brilliant, because 2 weeks ago you weren't in overwhelm because you weren't pushing yourself enough. That right now you're feeling so overwhelmed, right? So much is going on, and that is a good thing. It means you are at the top of the first part of your mountain. And your first part of your mountain may be your first 5K, your first 10K, your first 5 clients, whatever it may be, right? But you're at the top of nearly, not the full mountain, because I never want you to get there. I just want you to get to your first peak. So the overwhelm you're feeling right now is good. So every day when you wake up and you're feeling overwhelmed, tell yourself, this means I'm doing well. Okay, number one. So you tell your mind that this is good. So the mind reframes it, right? So it's not looking at overwhelm as a bad thing. It looks at it as a positive thing. The next question is, well, okay, now I see it as a positive. How do I cope with it? One of the greatest ways where I feel to be able to cope with this, I always say that when you need to change your mindset, when you need to change your emotional state, there's 3 things, right? So number one, you've changed the focus, right? You've changed the focus from a negative to positive, right? You tell yourself it's good, yeah? Number 2, you change the language you speak to yourself in. So rather than saying, I'm feeling overwhelmed and stressed, tell yourself I'm feeling excited, right? Because the moment you start telling yourself that, the body starts believing it. When you say, yeah, I'm excited, right? Next time you're scared, just say, I'm excited. You realize that the endorphins rush in your body, and just your body starts changing because you're telling it a different thing. You're giving it a different narrative, okay? So number 1, the focus. Number 2, the language. The third thing is the physiology, which you said about, should I go running? Change your physiology. There have been studies done at Harvard, and what they've showed is if you just kind of have a power pose, if you just stand up and just have a power pose, power pose, whatever that pose may be, your testosterone level in men and women, because it's an energy hormone, goes up by about 34%. Your cortisol level, which is your stress hormone, goes down by about 20%. Okay, and it's a study done at Harvard. And so your physiology is so important. So even if you just stand up, right, like a flipping billionaire, you stand up like a superhero. I teach you all to have your power pose, right? Your superhero pose. Just that will help you overcome it. You need more than that. Go for a run. Go for a walk. Just if you put those 3 things together, what you'll find is whenever you hit that overwhelm zone, you will reframe it completely. You'll give yourself a new narrative. And the third thing you will do is you'll change your physiology, so your body will be able to cope with it no matter what. And you'll be able to push past it. And no matter where this happens, business, marriage, kids, money, whatever it is, if you do these 3 things, I promise you'll be able to change things like that. Then you become very powerful, because you know that whenever I'm feeling like this, I know I can change it. Well, I need to do this. Is fine. Let me call it excitement. Number 2, let me say I'm good. Let me say I'm feeling great. Number 3, let me change my physiology. And the moment you do that, things change. Right? So that overwhelmed place right now, I am so happy you're in that zone so early on. I'm so happy you're there right now, because what it shows me, and I know this because we've spoken, right? I know how much you're pushing. I know how hard you're trying. I know how much you're coming out of your comfort zone. You're on here. You're on social media. When would you have been on here, right? 2 weeks ago, you'd have never done this. And now you're here. And look how many people have learned from you, right? That this question, right? Such a powerful question. And everyone who's listening can go and take nuggets of this away. And they know that the next time they're feeling overwhelmed, imagine how much it's going to help them. So, yeah, right? And if anyone needs, anything for writing, Murtaza, what I would say, just take on as many people as you can, right? Just, try Murtaza. He's brilliant, right? All of us need ads written, right? Just put your handle in the comments below. Let people come to you. And, if anyone needs a copy, we will need a copywriter, right? So Murtaza, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for jumping on. Yeah. Hope that's helped. Great. Thank you so much. So we have, have we jumped? Okay, so I'm just going to log back into Instagram, because that just logged us off. Just going to go back into there, back in on live, and let's go back in. Sorry, just going to give everyone a couple of minutes. Instagram just tuned out because we were just in an hour, so we'll just give it just a minute. So Murtaza's question was that feeling of overwhelm. That how do you get through that? Okay, everyone on Instagram, yep, Instagram just logged off because we hit an hour. So just please come back on. Murtaza's question was, I'm overwhelmed. My point is, that's great, right? Because the journey he's been on for the last 2 weeks, he's pushed, he's grown, he's done crazy things. So that feeling of overwhelm is going to be normal, absolutely normal. And when you're feeling overwhelmed, do 3 things. That number 1, right? You you change your focus, that you understand that overwhelm is actually a good thing. Overwhelm means you're growing, right? So you tell yourself that. Number two, so now because you're telling yourself a better narrative, your body language is going to change, okay? And number three, go for a run, get some fresh air, get a power pose on, change your physiology. The moment you do that, then everything changes very, very, very quickly, right? So overwhelm, brilliant place to be. It means you're pushing. Understand that it's a good place to be, that you are near the top of your mountain. You hit overwhelm, you're near the top of your mountain, okay? And it's not the full mountain. It may be just the first peak, but that's okay because we're just doing peak by peak by peak, right? Great, okay. So let's see who is next. We've got Minhal. Minhal, let's bring you on, and let's get you on. And then we'll have a few more people, then we'll wrap up in about 20 minutes. My throat's a bit dry because I'm fasting, but we're still good to go. We're still good to go. So for those of you who are on Facebook and YouTube, feel free to join in on Instagram and you'll be able to see us there. Minhal didn't come on. If there's anyone else, just click the button and I will take you on. Otherwise, I'll just go through a few questions I have here. Let's see, what questions did we have? Okay, so do we have, who's here right now? Okay, again, if you want to join in, just click on the request button and I'll bring you on. And some of you have messaging questions already, so I've just asked you to come on here. So if you're on here right now, let's get you on. Right, one of the questions which was asked is, do I use my personal Facebook page or do I use my business Facebook page? I always say that you have two brands. You have your personal brand and you have your business brand. Your personal brand is the most important brand you'll ever have, because if you can build up your personal brand, your business brands, no matter what business you have after, can leverage off that. So I always say the most important thing you can do is build up your personal brand. Okay, difference between your Facebook page, your personal one, and your business one will not get you any traction. If you've got a 200 likes on there, for example, you get a 1% traction rate, which means only 1% will see your post. One person will see your post. So your business Facebook page is only designed for you to really do paid ads on there, for you to be able to get things out. So your personal Facebook page is where I want you to post all of your stuff. And many people go, well, personal Facebook page, my friends are on there. Well, you know what? Facebook it's about building your business. And if you're worried about posting videos on there, it means you're worried about other people's opinions of you, because your people in your private Facebook page, the people on your personal page, would be your potential clients. So make sure you are posting on there. I always say that you have a limit of 5,000 friends. Just go in and make as many friends as you can. Why? Because each and every person could be a potential client of yours. What I do is every time I hit 5,000, I go back, a week later, I take 100 people off, and then another 100 people come on. And I've always hit my 5,000 limit. Why? Because I know that each and every person on my personal Facebook page is someone whose life I could change, whose I can do business with. Okay. So Minhal has come on board. Let me see if I can get Minhal on board now. And let's see what Minhal's question is. Minhal, are you there? Can we connect with you? Let's go. And if not, let's see if there's anyone else. Otherwise, I will go through the questions I have here. Nope. Minhal, 313, I can't get you on. It's not connecting. I'm going to try again. And it's just waiting for you to join. Maybe your connection. My connection is pretty good here. So it may be your one. Oh, brilliant, Minhal, you're there. Great. Hey, man, how are you? Good to have you here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Awesome. Brilliant. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly well. So thanks for posting your question in. Well done for everything you're doing. Okay. I love your new Facebook group. I love the fact that you're out there. I love the fact that there's so much positivity out there that you're trying to change so many people. So well done. And a few weeks ago, you were never doing this, right? So hats off to you for all the action you've taken. Okay. So really well done. Question is, how can I help you now? Awesome. Okay. Sure. Sure. Cool. Okay, fine. So I don't think many people can hear you. Your internet's a bit choppy, but hopefully they've heard you now. But I'll go through the questions. Question was number one, Instagram reach, right? So how do you get that reach more on social? So my point is, and my reach ain't okay. So I haven't got hundreds and thousands of followers. For me, it's about the quality of the people who follow you as opposed to the quantity of people who follow you. Because it takes 10 people who are jointly connected with you to change your life than having 100,000 people out there who just do you lip service, right? And who don't say anything. So the way I would do it, the way I would build this up is I always say give before you ask. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. I'll just keep putting out the content you're doing, put it out, you're sharing on your also, rather than just sharing it in your group, put it on your personal Facebook page as well. Because the only way that people are going to get on your private group is if they request for it, if they come across it. So what I would suggest you do is don't just post up on your group, but post up on your main Facebook page. What I'd also say is go and make as many friends as you can. You've got a 5,000 limit, okay? Hit that 5,000 very quickly. And then what you do is run as many lives as you can, because lives have got the most amount of traction. And then what you do is just like I asked, right? There's people on Facebook now, people on YouTube. I'll say, come over to Instagram, right? And so what I'd want, yes, also ask them. So then cross-pollinate your followers, get them to come from Instagram to YouTube. YouTube is the hardest place to build up. So ask your Instagram followers to come onto your YouTube. So just cross-pollinate there. But the key to all of this is going to be the amount of content you put out. Okay, so just make sure that you're putting out great content all the time and spread it as far and wide as you can. And share on WhatsApp group, share it to people, ask them to share it, and then slowly things build up. But don't expect like for someone, yeah, go. Yep. Okay. Cool. Okay. Sure. Okay. Right. Sure. So my suggestion is, okay, so number one, what I would say is concentrate on one platform at the beginning, right? One platform. So for me, Facebook was my platform. Each and every one of my speaking engagements around the world came from Facebook. Everyone came from Facebook, right? Every single speaking arrangement I had around the world came from Facebook. That's how everything for me launched. Someone saw something, they shared it, someone saw it, and they called me onto their stage to speak, and that's how everything happened, right? So but I didn't use any paid ads to begin with, right? I didn't use any paid ads. It was all organic reach, and the organic reach on Facebook is still great, because if you put out great content, people will share it and people will see you, right? And it's just that, okay, and it's just that snowball effect. So find your main platform. If you can concentrate on two, I concentrated on one, and then I started building up Instagram, and then I went on to YouTube, and YouTube's the one which I'm building up right now. For me, life became so much easier when I realized that I needed people around me who could help me. So I got my coaches on board, some of the coaches, and I started getting VAs on board, people who could start doing stuff for me. So we've got a coaching session tomorrow. I'll tell you all about that then. Okay, so that's cool. If that's something you need, I can sort that out for you, not a problem. So you'll find that your life becomes easier when there's people sharing the workload, right? And you can get other people to do things. One thing you said is about a giveaway. I think that's a great idea, okay, to be able to get people on. Make sure you've got enough traction going, and then just say for everyone who follows me in the next week, right, I'm going to pick one person and I'm going to give you free coaching for a month, or whatever it may be, right? Whatever it may be. So find something that you can give, because everyone wants something, right? But in the end, right, so you can give it to them, but they have to do something in return, right? So they can like you, they can follow you. For someone to follow you is quite a big thing, right? It's not a simple thing. These days, it's quite a big thing. For someone to give you their email address is a big thing as well. That's for someone to give me their email address. I've said that if you want the PDF of this, give me your email address and I will give that to you. It's my gift to you, right? So build up that community like that. Okay, don't go in for the sell very quickly, because it's not going to happen. You need to have about 9 touch points on people. So you need to be able to touch people. It's like 9 times before they actually do business with you. Then see 9 of your videos. They need to see 9 things about you before they'll actually do business with you. So make sure that you're getting out there. But what you're doing is great, and just keep it going. The other thing you asked about was the productivity. And how do I go on for 20-hour days? Because I told you about my 20-hour days, right? Okay, 20-hour days, they're so doable, right? I've been doing a lot of them this week. Last night I crashed out at this morning, 4:30 a.m. I was just too tired. Again, I was up at 10. But the point being that when you're driven, you don't have to say, I'll have a 20-hour day. You just keep going for 20 hours, right? So it's not about you're going to say, I'm going to be working this morning till 6 a.m. It's that you're so flipping driven. You just want to do it. You just want to. And I always say that don't set your day around I'll finish my day when I finish my work, because right now the journey we're on, the journey of entrepreneurship, that journey will never finish. So you could be on there 24, 48 hours a day. So I would say, say stop when when I'm tired, right? And that's the way I'll stop when I'm tired. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Right. Cool. Okay, so number one, I would say I would always give yourself so much credit for getting up there, number one, because 99% of people will not produce content. Okay, so you've done it. Massive pat on the back to you, number one. Number two, that as you put each and every video out, you will get better and better, because it's a numbers game. The more you do, the better you'll get. What I would do is each and every video you do, okay, sit down and analyze it. Okay, put it on our private coaching group, right? Let people give you critique, right? Let Fuzz, let Farhan, let the group actually critique you. Let them say, look, it's great, but do this, but do this, but do this, but do this, and use that as gospel, right? Take that on board, and the next time make that happen, make that happen. So early on in my day, I used to record everything. I used to send it to my coaches, and they used to write me. So my journey started off where I used to kind of, I give talks in rooms, and then I used to be the shotgun speaker. So I used to go and sell. So I used to give a 3-hour talk, and then at the back end of it, there was a sales pitch. Go at the back and buy the product, right? They all used to be recorded, and then my coach used to go through it. Mahmood, I didn't like the way you stand. When you started to sell, you started doing this with your fingers. You started looking down. You walked too far this way, right? So I got so much feedback early on. That's why I say coaches are so important, right? I got so much feedback early on, and I used to eat that, and I used to wait, right? When they said, Mahmood, you done brilliant, didn't want that. I wanted them saying, Mahmood, improve. So I got like 10 to 15 years worth of growth in a very short space of time, in like 2 or 3 months, and I grew rapidly, and I was closing the most for all the companies I worked with, because I realized where I could get good very quickly. So number one, pat yourself on the back. Number two, produce the content. Number three, make sure that content goes somewhere, and ask people who you respect and say, look, can you give me some feedback? Go to people who are producing content already. Don't go to your cousin or someone, because if they don't produce content, what the hell can they tell you, right? They'll go, they won't know what to say, right? So go to someone who's already doing it and ask them, what, can you critique this video for me? And let them come back and let them critique it for you, and then use that as gold dust, and then go and build on that. And if you use that within the next few weeks, as you're doing more and more content, you become phenomenal. You'll absolutely become phenomenal. Yeah? Cool. Great. Awesome. So I look forward to seeing you in the next coaching circle. And brilliant. Well done. Well done for everything you're doing. Yeah? Absolutely well done. Great. Thank you. Cool. Love it. Thanks so much for the kind words. Means a lot. Yeah, absolutely means a lot. Thank you. Right. So let me see who is next. Who's next over here? We have, wow, we've got a lot of people right now. So who is coming on next? Okay. Is there anyone specifically who wants to come on next? There's a lot of people who are waiting. I've got some questions here. Is there anyone who wants to jump on right now? Anyone who wants to jump on? Let me see. Anyone wants to jump on? I am gonna go down the list and see. Brilliant. We have Imran with us. And just waiting for Imran to connect. Imran, are you there? Great, 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 great. Awesome, Imran. Great to have you on. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm very, very, very well. Thank you. Thank you so much for jumping in. How are you, man? You're doing great things. Cool. Do you know what? My pleasure. Absolute pleasure. So, where are you right now, and how can I help? Cool. Okay. I would put it down to what is the most important for you right now, right? So, is it the community stuff? Is it the work stuff? What is the most important for you right now? And that's where I would start on, right? And I know the other question you asked was about what do I produce content for? Right? There's two or three different things I'm doing. So, I think just before you came on, what I said is that the brand you'll ever have is your personal brand, and your personal brand is you, right? And every business brand you have will branch off that. So people like, Gary Vee or Tony Robbins, whatever business they launch now, people will, it'll be easy for people to go into that, right? That people join them easily because they've got a great personal brand. And no matter what happens to the businesses you have, your personal brand will be the most important thing. So my point is, get your personal brand out there, right? What are you most passionate about? What drives you? And use your main platforms, your personal Facebook page, not your business one, right? And get all of that out there. And then from there, you can then produce specific content. So if it's for the community stuff, you want to produce community content, right? Whatever that may be. If it's work content, right, for the Optum practices, right, then you can, just focus in on that. But the most important thing that you can do right now is build up your personal brand and look at what is the most important thing that you need to work on. That is it the community stuff? Is it the business? Where are you going to get the most amount of traction at the moment? Where do you feel, or where do you want to get the most amount of traction at the moment? Okay. I'd ask yourself a question: what's most important to me right now? Finances or whatever else I'm trying to go after? Is it because finances mean like right now during the lockdown, your business may be the most important thing to you because when the business opens, what's going to happen to that clientele? They'll have the opportunity to go anywhere, right? Are you keeping in touch with them more? Are they seeing you more? Do you have 7 touch points with them every week? Is that the most important thing to you right now? And if the business and the finances are, then make sure that that's what you go after right now because you have to live, right? You've got to make your business survive. If that's not the most important thing because you've got it managed and it's all okay, then fine, concentrate on the other thing. I feel that the other stuff brings more happiness in than the work stuff, but the work stuff brings in more money than the other stuff. So that's the debate that you got to play in your mind. What is the most important thing to you right now? How important is growing the business for you at a time like this? Are you happy that when the doors open, things will just go back to the way it was before, maybe a bit less? And are you happy with that? And if so, that's cool. But if not, then channel most of your energy in there. Yeah, 100%. Okay, cool. So when the doors open, things are going to be very strange because number one, people are going to be very scared to come to you, okay, at a very close distance, right? Because they're saying now that we may have social distancing until 2021, right? And things like that. So, life's going to change the way it is. And so when people used to just come in for eye tests before, I feel now they're going to think, do I really need that eye test, right? Do I need it every year or every 6 months? Maybe I can delay. Maybe I'll push to 2021. So what I feel that it's going to become a very, very, very market. It's going to become a very tough market. That maybe half the people will come in, and that's not there to scare you. This is actually what I think, right? Because just logically, I don't think enough you get enough footfall. And the people who will come in are people who really have to come in and they really need a pair of glasses and things like that. So the best thing you can do right now is what can you create for those patients where you can create packages for them where you can help them from home. So say, for example, you give them virtual eye exams from now. Like you can let them know that I know that you can put it out there, address the elephant in the room, that I know that it's going to get quite difficult. Even when we open the doors, you're going to be a bit worried to come to us. But say, I'm worried that what's going to happen to your eyes, right? Because I've looked after your eyes for this long and I'm worried if you don't come and see me, what could happen, right? So I want to spend a lot of time here giving you advice, whatever. So just start feeding them content, how they can look after your eyes, what they could do. Maybe you can start doing online examinations, right? Now, I know you don't have all the equipment and that there to be able to do a proper one, but I am sure with the resources we have, you can pull off a half decent exam. Right. And if anything, you could actually build something which could be, something which other opticians could look at as well. You can create a whole, maybe check your eyes from home where you can do, stuff where you can go in on Zoom or whatever it may be. They can have a certain type of webcam where you can actually get in and they can, you can look at their eyes on here. And which would mean that they're relieved that they don't need to come in, and which means that you can start generating income from those clients. But most people aren't looking at it like that. Most people think, let me wait until the doors open and then let me see what happens. But then all the doors will open and people won't come in, and then the funding is going to go down. And I really feel that a lot of businesses who rely on that one-to-one interaction with people are going to suffer. It's scary, right? I understand that, but I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to grow you. So my point is, right now, while the doors are closed, think of a way, right? And get outside the box. And I know how you think, right? You think on a great level. So, just think, what can I do, right? If I was at home, and how could I, what would I like from my optician? Would I like him to send me messages on the stuff I can eat for my eyes? How to, keep my eyes really clean? How to make sure that my eyes are going to be okay? But what if I could go one step further? What if I could actually offer a virtual eye exam every 6 months? Maybe it's half an hour, and then, maybe it's a certain type of webcam they need, and I'll tell them to get this or whatever it may be. But I'm so sure that there are lots and lots of ways in which you can grow that business while being at home, and they can pay a monthly fee for that. And once you've got someone in for a monthly fee, obviously what that means is that you're not reliant on the walk-ins, but they're paying something monthly. And what you could find is that your biggest growth period could come from the biggest down period from everyone else. One of my biggest growth periods has been this time of lockdown, because I've launched online courses, I've done things which I've never had the time to do, right? And I've widened my net, I've got my courses going, things which I never ever thought I could do. But what I could have done is sat in a corner and said, oh my God, I'm scared, I'm worried. And then when the world opens and I can't have my live courses, which I normally do, what the hell am I going to do? And it would have ruined me. But I said, you know what? My goal out there isn't for me, it's for others. How can I serve others right now in the best way possible? So I put these things together. So I think for an Optom practice right now, create these online platforms now, right, where you can create, where you can give people an online examination, feed them content all the time. Because the people, like most Optoms, as far as I know, they make most of their money, right, from when people come in and buy glasses. And so you need disposable income for that. And what's going to happen right now is disposable income is going to go down. And those people may go to somewhere else. They may start looking around. They may go online and try and find the cheapest glasses online rather than coming into you. They'll say, well, I haven't seen you for so long, so that one-to-one interaction isn't important anymore. Let me do it online, right? All of these things are going on in people's heads. But if they've seen you every single day for the last few weeks, for the next few weeks, what's going to happen? That to leave you becomes very difficult. That there's that guilt, right? Oh my God, he's giving me so much. I want to give him back, right? I want to be there because I like the guy. I like that practice. I'm going to keep going there. And that way you will keep your customer attention. So this is the time when you should be hitting, I would say, call each and every person up, hire someone and, get one of your staffs off furlough if all of them are going to get one. And her role is to actually contact each and every person by phone and say, how can we help you? What can we do more? Are you okay? Imagine if I had a call from my optician saying that, I'd be like, seriously now? Wow, right? It'll build up so much goodwill. And they're the things I would do right now. I would get a VA who can speak very good English, give it to her to do. Whatever it is, I would call myself, get your, on your software, look at your 50 highest paying clients, right, over the last year. Who's giving you the most amount of income? Those 50 people are very important. I would call them myself. I'd pick up the phone, I'd call them and say, do you know what? At a time like this, what can I do for you? Right? What can I do for you? Is there anything right now I can do to serve you? And ask them, do you know what? I always say that when you're building a product, go and ask your target client, what would you like? So when I'm designing a product, I'll go to my target audience. I'll say, you know what do you think of this? Would you buy this? And if they're like, yeah, I'll be okay, fine. Then I'll put that together. I've put on a kids mindset course, right, which I'm running for kids in 2 weeks' time. And if anyone's got kids between the age of 8, 14 or even above, let me know. It's just a no-brainer thing. Your kids' mindset, right? Just message me and I'll give you details about that. I went to my target client who had kids and I said, what would you like? what can I do for your kids? And they said, we'd love you to be able to teach our kids how to have a growth mindset, because we never had it till now. It's helping us so much now. Imagine if our kids can have it at the age of 8, 9, 10. Imagine where their life's going to be. I said, okay, cool. And we put on something for your kids. And that's where that program came from, right? So these are my points. Go to your 50 highest paying clients, pick up the phone and call them. Number one, if you do that, they'll never leave you, right? Because you've made that effort. Number two, ask them, what can I be doing for you? I'm thinking of having virtual eye exams. Would you be up for that? And they'd be like, yeah, easily. And then, taking it from there. And that way I feel right now, when times are going to be the worst for other optoms, you flourish. And then what you can do, I'd go one step beyond that. You're in the coaching circle, we'll go through this. But I reckon you can actually then coach other optoms on how to do this, right? You can go to them and say, look, at the worst kind of time, our revenue is going up, your revenue is going down. Let me show you how to do that. And then you can actually coach other optoms on how to do that in their practice. And that's the way I would do it. I'll think well outside the box. I'd look at, what have I got available to me? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of this, right? What can I do right now to be able to save people's eyes? Because if one of your clients goes blind during this time, you'd be like, what if you could have done that one more thing to be able to help them, right? No one minds paying for things if it's going to give them value, right? So everyone who invests in me, I've told you, right? I want you to make what you've invested in me. You'll make 10 times more. Within 6 months, you'll 10x your income in me. Your investment in me. I know it. Right? So people don't mind paying for something if they know they're going to get something back. And if your clients know that by doing this, you can actually give them, better eyesight, or, it saves them having some sort of eye problem, everyone will pay, right? And you could have a system right now, we're getting so much revenue per month, which you've never had before, and it's going to come in the darkest times of everyone else. But just remember, in the darkest of times, that's where people grow the most, who want to grow. And, for anyone who comes to me with any sort of person-to-person business, that's what I would say right now, whether you're a dentist, whether you're an accountant, whether you're that, this is the time to do it. Right? Accountants here, they can do it online, but you need to have one-to-one interaction with people, but you can't. And I really feel that when things go back, you won't be able to have that. And your business is the most important thing you have, right? Because that goodwill is so important if you ever want to sell it. So right now, you need to maintain it. Goodwill also, because I was a dentist, right? I know what goodwill's about. If you can have people paying monthly, so you've got recurring revenue, that's worth so much more in goodwill than people coming in paying you as a one-off, right? So you'd rather have a practice which is generating, 500,000 on recurring revenue than 900 grand on just people coming in and paying, because that 500 is more stable. So right now is the time when you can build up a stable income. And you can go to your whole client base and say, look, this is the product I'm launching. This is for you. Why don't you come on board? And you know what? 80% of those people will say yes. That's fine. And then once they're in there, you'll have different things you can give them. That's the way I'd grow it right now. Yeah. Does that help? Does that make sense? Yeah. Does it answer your question about what to do and where to concentrate on? Yeah. Yeah. It is. Yeah, and then just as Fuzz has written on there as well, right? The subscription-based business are the key to everything, right? Fuzz is a dentist. Fuzz is one of my clients, right? One of the key is, yes, that even right now when the doors are closed, Fuzz's practice right now is, there's a lot of monthly subscriptions, and that is key to a time right now. Imran, the one thing I am going to say, which I think you've got this dilemma in your head that what I need to do the most is what I don't want to do the most. And what I want to do the most is not going to give me the biggest ROI right now. I get that, right? The stuff on the outside will give you the greatest amount of happiness, but it's not going to bring in the most amount of revenue. But on the other hand, you've got this big business here, which you need to put a lot of time and effort into, but it's not going to. And so what I would say is, for the next 3-4 months, concentrate on the business, because you will make so much from there in terms of goodwill and in terms of revenue, which you never thought. And then work on this as well, but just don't give this your all. And then come back. Because if anything happens to this, you're going to lose something massive. That's your retirement fund. That's everything you've built up, right? Hard-earned money, time has gone into there, right? This is new. So just concentrate on there, really, really build that up. And then there'll come a time when you can, step back from there a little and concentrate on this, right? Yeah, and just as Fuzz said, right, just what I say, what you need to do the most is sometimes what you don't want to do the most. Okay, is that okay? Cool, brilliant. Thanks. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow online on our call, and I'm just going to take in 1 or 2 more people, and then I think everyone's probably very tired of me, or if not, my voice is getting dry, and I've got another call in a few minutes. So let's see who else is anyone there right now. Let's come in with anyone over here right now, or I've got a couple of questions. Does anyone have Does anyone want to jump in with anything? Does anyone have a burning question? Otherwise, I have a few questions which were sent to me here. Fine, we've been through that. We've covered that with someone else. Productivity, covered that. Right, one question. Right, Asif, are you on? If you're on, click a mess. Just click on that. I'll bring you on. But otherwise, how do you pick a good business idea? Right? Do you should you do what you're naturally good at? Should you enjoy it? My point is, yes. Right now, some of you are looking to. For those of you who are on my group, next month I've got this big module on finding that killer business idea. Right, so I'll go through this in detail. But just to kind of wrap it up, really, really in a short way, that number one, you don't have to go into something you're naturally good at, because if you go into something you're naturally good at, the chances are you kind of tried that already. So I would say that if you're good at it, it's going to be better. But the most important thing is you got to really want to do it, because the key to growing any business is the amount of hours you put in, is the amount of hard work. And if you love it, if you really enjoy it, you'll spend a lot more than someone else. And the key to success is the amount of hours you're going to put in, right? It's the hustle game. It's how much you're willing to go up the mountain, how much you're willing to get past fear, get past pain, get past overwhelm, get past that crap zone, right? That's all of that. So you got to be able to love the process. And if you're naturally good at it, that's even better. But there may be an idea or something you really want to do, you love to do, but you're not good at doing it, and that's okay. Because for me, that's what potential is. The definition of potential is doing something which you're not great at, because you're going to get great at it. Right? So that's okay. So that is your potential. So if you say, for example, you want to become, let's pick something, I don't know, you want to become a coach, right? But the thing is, it's like, Mahmood, I know that to be able to become a coach, I need to be able to do Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives, YouTube Lives. I need to be able to get out there more. And I'm not a camera person. I'm not a social media person. Just like me, 3.5 years ago, you'd have never seen me on camera. Didn't like the sound of my voice. Didn't like, I had a stutter. I couldn't speak. All of these things, right, went in my head. But that's okay, because I wanted to be able to do what I did. I understood that I had to counter my greatest fears, and that made me into the person I am now. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here with you right now. So understand that if you want to do something, even if you're not great at it, that's okay. Becoming great is only a certain amount of skill set. So for me, it was, how to speak, how to sell, and I went to people who could teach me that, and that's all it was. And given a long enough time frame, you can acquire those skills to do whatever you want. But you just need long enough. Sometimes we overestimate what we can do in a year. We underestimate what we can do in 5 years' time, right? So if you want to have 100,000 followers and £200,000-300,000 from Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook within a year, to be honest, you probably won't do it. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying it's flipping very difficult to do. In 5 years' time, quite easily possible, but you've got to start now. Remember, what you do today is going to affect tomorrow. What you're going to do tomorrow is going to affect the next day. So if today you're feeling bad, it's just going to run into your next day. So snap out of it straight away. Okay, one question over here, and then we'll probably end it in 5 minutes. What's your opinion on young people making money through buying and selling very limited items? I think that's a phenomenal idea, right? I think anything right now, which, for young kids, right? When I was younger, I never had eBay. I never had the power of social media, right? We never had this. Life would have been totally different. As parents, sometimes we're very like, social media is bad, it's bad. There's a part of it which is bad. Like when you look at people in life, right? And there's no bad person. There's bits of that person which are bad, and there's bits of them which are good. And same as social media. And normally parents say social media is a bad place because they don't use it much, right? So use it for the right things. For me, I think social media is one of the biggest gifts we ever have. I'm reaching out to you around the world because of social media. If we never had this, I could never have done this. I would say ignite that entrepreneur spirit in all kids. I do it for my kids. My youngest, who's 11 years old, he runs my MailChimp account. Yeah, I pay him for that. My oldest used to do a lot of my video creation, right? And now he still does a lot of my video stuff, and there's other stuff he's doing. And then my daughter, she writes a lot of my content. And now, because obviously it's grown so much that I can't rely on my kids only anymore. So I've got VAs, PAs, I've got a team around me who are going to support me. But my kids sell things on eBay, they sell things on Amazon, they're coming up with ideas. My youngest is launching a course where he can teach people how to do MailChimp. And it's just ignite this in them, right? And it's not about making money, it's just about giving them that confidence to go out there. And whether they make £1 or £100 or £1,000, it doesn't matter, right? There are 15-year-old kids earning $20 million a year on Twitch, right? We tell our kids about to play computer games. Yeah, I tell my kids they've got 1 hour a day, right? They have 1 hour a day for games. That's it, right? For screens, they have 1 hour a day, right? But even then, but I want to encourage them, right? Like YouTube, it's the greatest place kids can go, right? We've all got a TV channel. Like right now, this is my TV channel. The more content I produce, the better content you're going to watch me, right? 15 years ago, if people had said to us we can be on live TV, we would have paid thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands to be on there. And now it's free. But how many of us use it, right? So long answer to a short question, would I encourage it? 100%, 100%. I would ignite as much entrepreneurship in kids as possible, right? Show them what's out there. Let them do a Facebook course. Let them teach other people how to do things. Kids learn things very quickly because that's the way their mind is. Adults learn, but they don't learn at that quick rate like kids do, because kids have got a blast of where their brain's growing, where they're getting more brain cells quickly. Adults still grow brain cells, right? Neuroplasticity, we're always growing our brain, but kids are growing it at a much, much, much faster rate. So yes, encourage your kids to do as much, right? Get out there, get on Facebook yourself, get your kids to get on there, but not to look at other people's posts, but understand how you can help other people, how you can, what is it that you can do? Right. So for me, I don't want to go there and, look at, who's divorced and who's married. No, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in how can I change your life? That is it. Okay. Next question. And that's cool. So it's but once again, my parents would rather focus on education rather than, that's true. Right. Okay. So I'm going to be careful here. Right. Parents want to focus on education. Yes. But like when you're, a lot of the education in school doesn't cover the life skills you have to have now. Right? They don't teach you how to get a growth mindset. They don't teach you how to public speak. They don't teach you how to have confidence. They don't teach you how to sell. Right? Things which are so important. Right? One of the richest men in the world, Warren Buffett, he says right now that the biggest skill you can have is learning how to speak. Right? Learning how to power speak. Learning how to public speak. Not just in public, but here on these mediums over here. And this is something which is going to be so important to you. So what I would do is I would get your parents to message me, and then I would have a word with them about the importance of your education 100%. And I'm sure that if you're on here right now and if you're messaging me on here right now, you're a very, very, very smart kid, right? And so 100%, you'll be able to get your work done plus do everything, right? So I understand, for me, exams are very important. So I'm with my kids as well, that make sure your work is done. But I also want them to learn these other skill sets, because right now in life, these are the important skills, as well as knowing how high is Everest and, how to do Pythagoras and how to do trig and, what colors make up white and things like that, right? Those things are important, I guess, right? But the other skill sets right now, how to speak, how to have a growth mindset, how to have confidence, how to have self-esteem, those things, right? How to sell, how to grow your Instagram following, how to grow your YouTube following, how to grow your Facebook following. These things are so important right now as well, because this is the way the world is going. So, give your kids that gift as well. Okay, so cool. So I've gone on for like 90 minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in. If there's any other questions, message me. If there's anyone out there who'd like this mindset course for their kids, I've done it at I'll send you the video. Come on, it's aged from 8 to 14 plus above. It's just a no-brainer. Just get in there, and I really want to be able to train your kids. It's over a month. It's 8 Zoom calls, which I'm going to give your kids, and I'm going to give the parents a session as well, right? And it's all like 50 quid. It's £50 for the whole lot. It's none of this is to make money. This is so I want you to. It's a token payment to make sure that you turn up, right? That's the most important thing. I want you to turn up every single day, okay? To make sure, and it's based over a month on weekends, Saturday, Sunday, and it's a great place for your kids to be able to get a great, powerful mindset. So if you'd like that, let me know. If you'd like a PDF on the mountain of success, DM me, PM me your email address. If you're in my circle already, don't worry about it. I'll send that to you when I'm on the circle next, and give me your email address and I will get that sorted. So I hope I've answered everyone's questions. Thank you so much for that. I think we've covered a hell of a lot. I think that's been really useful. I will see you later on in the week, but if there's anything, please feel free to reach out. We've gone on for 90 minutes. Just got another call I need to do right now. So take care. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have been amazing, and I will see you all very, 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 very soon. So just gonna go off on Instagram, and there we go, and let's share that. I'm just gonna go up on Facebook. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and YouTube as well. If you're on YouTube now, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And other than that, please join in on Instagram. And I really, really hope you've had a great session as well. Thank you so much for tuning in.